I bet you didn't know how much the cold shaped the fate of World War II. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe, like and share this video so you never miss the untold stories that changed history. In World War II, beyond the thunder of artillery and clashing armies, there was a silent, deadly enemy, the cold. On the Eastern Front, in the Ardennes and the mountains of Italy, soldiers faced temperatures that plunged far below freezing. Imagine a young soldier in a foxhole, the air so cold it feels like shards of glass in his lungs, his fingers numb and useless. Frostbite and hypothermia became as deadly as bullets, turning limbs black and lifeless, sapping hope and morale. Diaries from the front spoke not of heroics, but of the desperate need for warmth, a fire, a hot meal, or just dry socks. The cold was a great leveller, indifferent to rank or nationality, grinding down armies and shaping the course of battles. An army freezing in the snow is an army that cannot fight. Nature itself became a formidable participant in the war, dictating movement and claiming victims with chilling impartiality. Before we look at the solutions, we must understand the scale of this elemental struggle. The snow was not just a backdrop, it was an active force shaping history. To survive, soldiers had to fight not just the enemy, but the relentless biting cold. This was a brutal lesson in the power of the natural world. How did military planners overlook the weather? Hubris, logistics, and underestimating nature all played a part. Blitzkrieg was built on speed, victory before winter. But when campaigns dragged on, armies were stranded in the cold. Supplying an army is hard. Winter gear was often deprioritized for weapons and ammo. Planners believed soldiers could simply endure, failing to grasp the reality of prolonged exposure. The Russian winter, general winter, was underestimated, its ferocity not fully appreciated. This oversight wasn't unique. Allied planners made similar mistakes, as seen in the Battle of the Bulge. The environment was seen as a passive stage, not an active combatant. The need for new thinking and new materials became tragically clear. Standard-issue uniforms, wool and cotton, were no match for brutal winters. Heavy greatcoats froze stiff, restricting movement and turning clothing into a frozen prison. Soldiers sweated into their wool, which then froze, drawing heat from their bodies. Leather boots offered little insulation. Once wet, they froze solid, leading to trench foot and frostbite. Wool, when wet, became heavy. Cotton lost all insulation and pulled heat from the body. Uniforms designed for another era failed in the static, freezing trenches. Cold hands couldn't pull triggers, frozen crews couldn't serve their guns. This wasn't just discomfort, it was a critical vulnerability. The desperate need for a better, lighter, water-resistant insulator was now a matter of survival. The search for a solution was about to take an unexpected turn. The answer came from the tropics, the Kapok tree, Ceiba pentandra. Indigenous peoples had long used its silky, water-resistant fibres for bedding and life vests. Kapok's hollow, wax-coated fibres are incredibly light and buoyant, 8 times lighter than cotton. Its main use was in life preservers, but someone realized if it traps air for flotation, it can trap air for warmth. Air is the key to insulation, and Kapok's fibres trap plenty of it. Its waxy coating repels water, so it stays warm even when wet. Soon, Kapok was harvested, baled, and shipped from rainforests to the world's coldest battlefields. Nature's solution for seed dispersal became a life-saving tool for soldiers. The kapok tree, a symbol of tropical vitality, became an unsung hero in the war against the cold. Kapok's secret lies in its structure. Each fibre is a hollow tube, coated in natural wax. Packed together, these fibres create a matrix of air pockets, nature's perfect insulation. The waxy coating repels water, so kapok stays dry and warm, even in damp conditions. Unlike wool or cotton, kapok doesn't absorb water, so it never becomes heavy or loses its insulating power. It's incredibly light and compressible, making gear less bulky and easier to carry. For soldiers, this meant less fatigue and more mobility. Kapok could be compressed for transport and would spring back to full loft when unpacked. Nature had perfected this design for seed dispersal, but it was also ideal for human survival. Humans didn't invent this technology, they discovered it, learning from nature's wisdom. Sometimes the most advanced solutions are those that have been quietly growing in the wild all along. Official kapok gear was slow to arrive, so soldiers improvised. Raw bales of kapok, meant for life vests, found their way to the front. Soldiers stuffed kapok into boots, gloves and jackets, creating makeshift insulation. They lined helmets, made scarves, and even slept on piles of kapok to keep off the frozen ground. These battlefield hacks saved countless men from frostbite and trench foot. Adaptation spread quickly. Soldiers shared tips, turning kapok into a multi-purpose survival tool. The frontline ingenuity of soldiers often outpaced official solutions. The story of kapok is as much about human creativity as it is about the fibre itself. Wool was the standard insulator, durable but heavy and slow to dry. In extreme cold, wool's weaknesses were exposed. It became waterlogged and exhausting to wear. Kapok, by contrast, stayed light and warm even when wet. Its warmth-to-weight ratio was far superior, improving mobility and reducing fatigue. Early synthetics like nylon were strong but poor insulators. Rayon and others weren't ready for the battlefield. For a brief moment, kapok was the undisputed champion of warmth. Nature's design outperformed the lab. Wool was too heavy. Synthetics weren't advanced enough. Kapok, a humble tropical fibre, became the most advanced solution for survival in the cold. After the war, kapok faded from use, not because it failed, but because the world changed. Most kapok came from Southeast Asia, but post-war instability disrupted supply. Meanwhile, synthetic fibres like polyester and acrylics were developed, cheaper, mass-produced, and easy to market as modern. Kapok's silky fibres were hard to spin, so it could only be used as loose fill, which could clump over time. Synthetics were engineered to be more stable and less flammable. The world wanted standardization and convenience, and kapok didn't fit the new industrial model. The wonder fibre was replaced by polyester and nylon, relegated to a historical footnote. What was state-of-the-art in 1943 was obsolete by 1963. Progress often means the natural is eclipsed by the manufactured, not always for the better, but for the easier. Today, as we seek sustainable alternatives, kapok is quietly making a comeback. Survivalists and naturalists value it for the same reasons soldiers did: lightweight, water-repellent, and superb insulation. It's a fire starter, a flotation device, and a warm bedding, all in one. Kapok is biodegradable, renewable, and requires no pesticides or fertilizers. Its story reminds us that nature's solutions are often elegant and effective. Advanced doesn't always mean new. Sometimes wisdom is found in forgotten places. The soldiers who stuffed their boots with kapok were part of a timeless story, learning from nature to survive. Their ingenuity echoes today, reminding us to look to the natural world for answers.